Hello, welcome. My name is Conor Walsh. I'm the International Engagement Officer at WWT in the UK, and that means I'm one of the team that looks after WLI, Wetland Link International. Today, we're going to look at how to make a strong application for the WLI Small Grants 2024-25. Very short version first, and then I'll go into a little bit more detail. First of all, these grants range from £250 sterling to £4,000. That's the range you can apply for. It must be about CEPA, communications, education, participation, or awareness at your visitor centre, not things like habitat management. And the timeline for this is tight. The deadline for you're getting your application in, that's the 24th of October. Then on the 1st of December, we want to inform the winners. And then we want to try and have money delivered to the winners by the 31st of December so that the projects can be carried out in January, February, March, maybe April of next year. And then reporting especially is in April 2025 for that final deadline of the 30th of April 2025 to get a report back to us. There are some requirements. First of all, you must be a member of WLI to take part in this, to apply. We can only pay to an institutional bank account. So if you use a personal bank account to run your CEPA work, I'm afraid we would not be able to award you a grant. I'm sorry about that. And you need to be able to react quickly if that money is to get to you before the 31st of December. Because here in the UK, the systems are quite slow in late December because there's various holidays happening. So if we contact you on the 1st of December with the good news, we would all need to act quite quickly in those first 2 weeks of December. We'd need to have your signed agreement form, your bank details, and a bank document confirming those details, and your organizational registration documents, all in digital form. You don't need to send us original copies. So I'll walk you through the application form next. But before that, let's just have some inspiration from the winners of last year. So you know the rules, you know the standards, and you want to apply. So let's go. So let's look at the application form itself. This is available as a Word document or an OpenOffice document, as you prefer. It's only available in English. So there are three parts to it: the project summary, the project proposal, and your official letter. One is a very brief overview of your project. Second is more detailed. And the third part then is evidence from further up your organization that it's good to go. So the project summary, title of your project, then implementing Wetland Center or organization is the name of your organization or your Wetland Center. Any other partner organizations who are helping you, put that there briefly. Start date and end date. Remember that this must be between the 1st of January 2025 and the, let's say, late March 2025. We can extend it a bit into April if necessary. You don't need to take all of that time. If you can do it in less, that's fine, but that's where we have to finish. And then you look at the budget. How much comes in to each section? So how much comes in from this small grant and how much comes from other sources? The exchange rate. If you click this link, it'll bring you to a website called oanda.com. And please in there, put in the exchange rate and the date that you checked that on for our benefit. And then there's simply a summary of the project. Remember, this is everything this application form is everything we have to go on. So be efficient in your use of words. Don't tell us things we already know, like wetlands are great, but also give us information that we need. And there's an important question that we're adding for this year, that it might be that actually we offer a smaller grant than you've applied for. What is the minimum amount of grant that you will say, okay, that's fine, we'll take it. So write that number in GBP, in UK pounds. And that's part one done. Part two then is that in more detail. So in reality, you would probably work through part two first and then create part one as a summary of it. So the country or territory, the name of your wetlands editor, the office address, contact persons, probably you. Remember, this might be the person whose name goes on the payment agreement, the grant agreement. Management arrangement. So list the project staff and their job titles. Again, fairly superficial, doesn't need to be super in-depth. Internal entities involved in project management. So if there's different departments within your bigger organization that might help, for example. External partners that may help deliver this project. So yeah, what it sounds like. And then we go into more detail on the proposed project, part 2.2.A, the areas where it'll be implemented. So that's the geographical location, the duration, start date and end date. Partner organizations, if you have some. Background and rationale. So the purpose, how it, and especially how this is a SEPA activity. And then objectives, again, maximum 300 words. And activities and outputs. Again, I'll recommend a good resource for helping you clarify the differences between each of these is the Conservation Leadership Program. They have manuals on their website. So if you look up Conservation Leadership Program, that will help you clarify what these different rationale, objectives, and outputs are. And then we get into the budget. So starting with summary, funding source, the amount in your local currency and in UK sterling, how much is coming from this grant, how much is coming from your organization, and how much is coming from elsewhere. It could be that you're only using money from us. It could be that you're using money from multiple sources. All absolutely fine. This one is a budget breakdown. It's a lot simpler than it looks. Please mark an X in the cells where you'll spend money and where it will come from. So if you're not spending, you don't need to put figures in here, just the letter X. If travel is not part of something you'll be spending money on, nothing. But if you will be buying equipment, £250 worth, and you want to bring it from the WLI Small Grant, just put an X there, and so on. Follow-up activities. The next steps, which must be carried out for the delivery of the outcomes and the sustainability of the project, always really important. And that's the final part of part two. And that's probably the most complicated part of the application form. Again, notice that we say maximum 300 words. You don't have to put 300 words in every case. But yeah, this is everything we know about your application is in this form. And the official letter. This is something from maybe the head of your organization. I know that might be you who's filling in the application. Or someone more senior who can vouch for the reliability of the proposal, saying that, yeah, this proposal is real and it makes sense. That might often arrive to you in the form of a PDF. Absolutely fine. You can send me the PDF as a separate document if it's difficult for you to add it in here into your form. And that's it. Those are your 3 sections of the application form. This form is everything you have to convince us, so please give us enough detail. Assume that we know nothing about your local circumstances. You need to give us a clear idea of what you want to use the grant on. But all that said, don't tell us the basic things that we already know, like wetlands are great or SEPA is important. Give us the details that we need. There are 3 parts to the application form. There's the project summary, the project proposal, and an official letter. Remember, going through here, provide enough detail for us to understand what you want to do and how it's a good use of the funding. Then email that completed form back to me at this address, wli@wwt.org.uk. And do that before we close. If you've never done a grant application before or this sort of proposal, that's fine. what I really strongly recommend is having a look at the Conservation Leadership Program website, where they have manuals on how to do this really, really well. So there's a link to that below, conservationleadershipprogram.org, and look for their project manuals. For now, though, I look forward to reading your application.